Hey YouTube, John here with Sonex Adventures. I just want to mention that there's no paid endorsements here. I am not affiliated with any company around my videos or my airplanes, so just wanted to put that out there and we'll jump into the video. Thanks for watching. Today is December 12th, 2020, and yesterday we had an unseasonably warm and nice day, so I took advantage and went flying. And the goal for yesterday's trip is going to be a little bit of alphabet soup for non-aviation types. Pilots love our acronyms. But the AHARS chip in my Stratix ADSB unit, when it was slaved to my iFly 740B EFIS system, has not been working when I do 3D vision attitude indicator basic. So AHARS is attitude and heading reference system. And Stratix is a brand. They make an ADSB transceiver, which is an automatic dependent surveillance broadcast, which is a situational awareness display for pilots, basically. If I have it and I'm receiving information from other aircraft that are transmitting on it, I can see their location, heading, speeds, a lot of different pieces of information. And I bought the iFly 740B moving map GPS display that is the prominent instrument in the panel, and I'll talk about that when we're flying. And it's what's known as an EFIS, or Electronic Flight Information System. But the goal yesterday was to see if the upgraded firmware that I put into the Stratix system actually fixed the problems that I'm having. So my goal was to go fly, do some steep maneuvers, check it, because normally that's what's happening is it'll just start to basically just lose its orientation. It doesn't know how to self-level, and I get warnings in the cockpit and all kinds of other craziness because that's not working. I will say the ADSB function of it is working fine, however, but enough of that, let's go flying. Thanks for watching Sonex Adventures. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon, and you'll get notifications of future videos. Alright, here we are, taxiing out from between the hangars here. My buddy Tim Fitzpatrick over there just went flying. I think he's wiping oil down off his engine there on the ground. Give him the thumbs up. And heading out here to the runway. Okay, I did the back taxi, didn't show that. Here I'm doing my run up. I've talked about this before. Checking mags, check carb heat, fuel pump on, avionics on. This is the AHRS chip that I'm talking about. I'm setting it to level here because after the taxi it was not level, which already told me that this flight was going to be a problem for it. That functionality was not going to be working because it should have been able to handle a taxi down the runway without going all cattywampus on me. Alright, so here's the takeoff. Full power. Let the speed build up. Push a little forward pressure, tails up. Get to some flying speed here. Pop up, so we're flying in the ground effect here. Just check the trim. Let it accelerate, so we're up to about 110. Coming up on 120 miles an hour here. Still accelerating, about 125 there, pull up. I've talked about this technique in other videos. It's pretty standard John Crisp takeoff right there. Gives me a little bit of inertia if something were to happen with the engine, get a little bit of trade that speed for altitude basically. So I'm up here in the operating area northwest of Fulton County basically, and here's where I start doing my sequence of turns. Did a clearing turn right before this edit in here. This is a pretty mild turn here, probably 30 degrees, no big deal. And already you'll notice on the EFIS panel, that's the iFly 740 right in the center, you'll see that there's an attitude indicator that popped up and then went away. What that is it's telling me it's reaching what it feels is an excessive bank angle, or a warning level bank angle. And I think 30, once you go past 30 it triggers it. I'm not 100% sure what its threshold is, but it obviously it popped up there. So here I am doing closer to a 45-degree bank turn to the right. Now it finally recognized that. You saw the delay and it popped up the warning again. Now I have to acknowledge that if I don't take any action, it's going to block my moving map, which is the right portion of that display. or just level off and it'll clear itself. But I do have to acknowledge it to get it off the screen if I want to, which I don't like that feature, honestly. I know what bank angle I'm in. I can tell from the 3D panel. I'm sure it's a safety feature, but you're not supposed to fly into IFR conditions or instrument flight rules with that instrument anyway. So I think it's a little bit redundant, and it's certainly annoying when you're flying around there, the frequency by which it's popping up, as you can see. So again here, just continue to do a few bank angles to see if I can get the AHRS chip to basically lose its position to figure out what it's actually doing. So far it's worked okay, though, I will say, to this part of the flight. So continue just to do a few turns here. I get a little bit more aggressive with the bank angles and with the G-forces I'm pulling. I'm doing about 130 miles an hour right here, looking at my airspeed indicator. I've mentioned before as well, it's hard to see. I can't read the numbers on there from the little preview screen I have in my video editing software, but that should be about 130 miles an hour right there. So here I'm zooming in. The reason I'm zooming in, there were some calls. There was a Cessna that landed on the highway yesterday, not very far from me, and I heard him calling out what his intentions were. I believe it was him anyway. It was a Cessna Cardinal. And then all of a sudden I see a bunch of aircraft converging along the highway. I was watching the airplane fly along the highway. So I'm pretty sure that's the person that had the engine out, went down on the I-80 that I talked about in the video. What I did there on my phone is I set the system to re-level the chip, the AHRS chip. There's a web interface, so you can re-level it through the iFly 740, or you can re-level it through the web interface. I tried both, neither seemed to work. It would keep its position for a while and then it would just lose itself. It didn't know what to do. So having leveled it again, checking my fuel here, checking my timers, checking all my flight instruments, and then I'll do a couple more steep maneuvers. Steep turns are anything over 30 degrees. I think technically they may have to go to 45. Again, you can see the warning that I've exceeded whatever its preferred bank angle is. Again, still indicating about 130 miles an hour here. This one a little more aggressive. Let the nose dip down a little bit on this one. You can see my airspeed building up. I hit about 160 miles an hour right there. And you can see, look at, if you notice in the center screen up on the main display, now all you see is sky. The thing just totally lost its lock. So that turn did it in basically. Now it's trying to come back, but you could see the lag in that instrument, which is huge. And now it thinks, well, you saw it just gimbal lock again. The thing is just totally freaking out right now, and it's just not working. There's other language I would use, but this is YouTube, and I won't use any profanity, but you can see it. Basically, you could say it's broken right there. It thinks I'm climbing, I think a left-hand turn. So I pull it up. I think I hit the 0 drift, and now I hit the reset level, and it comes back. That's in normal level flight what you should see on that display, but it's just all of a sudden it'll just lose what it thinks is going on. So that's, again, that was a big objective of this flight, was to see if I could break it, and I certainly did. So back down to about 130 miles an hour here. I'm trying to tell that thing to get off my screen, because clearly I wasn't exceeding any bank angle that it should have thrown up the warning, and here it comes up again, and it all of a sudden thinks it's climbing again, and it comes back to level. The thing is just totally freaking out right here. So to say it's not working would be an understatement at this point. Alright, well, now that we've established that that thing's not working, just watching my fuel, trying to burn down to 5 gallons remaining, because I have 5-gallon cans in my hangar, and I'll drain the fuel for the winter. Watching that, and here I'm doing a little bit of power here, descent, doing about 150 miles an hour right here, and we're heading back to the airport at this point. I've seen the things going on there with the other airplane. There were 3 or 4 other airplanes coming in around the airport where that happened. Here we're getting ready to set up. I've already kind of cut out all the traffic pattern work at this point. We're getting ready to turn final. I believe we're on base. I can't remember where I hit the edit button on the cut for the video. I'm doing about 85 miles an hour here. I like to be about 80, slowing it down a little bit. I do have 1 notch of flaps in. Turn in here, line up on the runway. The nice thing about yesterday, it was 54, 53 degrees, somewhere in there, and 0 wind. It had been windy when I got to the airport, but it was definitely not windy at this point in the landing. So we're lined up here. Glide slope looks good. You can't see the VASI lights, visual approach slope indicator lights, until now. I can't really honestly tell on my screen what they're set to, but they were red, red, white, white, which is what you want. Let's see if we see them here as we fly by them. Well, they'll probably be all red by this point. Starting my flare. Hold off, hold off, hold off. And 3 points. I think I've had some good landings in this airplane. I think that was one of my better ones. Again, I kind of edit the video here. You don't need to see me taxiing down the runway, but here I'm turning around the corner to get into my hangar area. Some of my buddies around the corner here. And you can see there was a good amount of activity at the airport. We had several airplanes coming in for fuel. A lot of my buddies who have opportunities to go out and hang out were out there. A little Ferrari there on the left. The toy store, so to speak. And here we are coming in for the shutdown. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Watch the videos on the channel. Click like and subscribe and the bell notification, and when I put new videos up, you'll be able to see them. We've got a couple of other videos for some other flights already edited. Basically haven't had a lot of time to do that the last couple of months with work. It's been crazy. This was a rare day off, so took advantage of it, and I'll have more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Sonex Adventures. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon, and you'll get notifications of future videos.